They say when you move out to the lake, you're looking for peace. And for the most part, they're right. Out here, the mornings are slow, the coffee hits different, and time sort of just stretches out. But what nobody warns you about is what happens when someone moves in who isn't looking for peace, someone who's looking for control. Now, I didn't come here looking for trouble. I retired early after 3 decades as a structural engineer, built bridges, towers, even worked on an underground stadium once. But when I packed up and moved out to the cabin my grandfather built in '52, I figured the biggest conflict I'd run into was maybe a stubborn raccoon or a leaky gutter. That cabin, it's not fancy. Doesn't have smart anything, and the water heater makes it sound like it's haunted, but it's home. Built by hand, brick chimney, creaky floorboards. And a view of Lake Ellsworth, so pretty it feels like you're waking up inside a painting. It's been in my family longer than HOA even had a name out here. But that didn't stop her. Her name was Deborah Whitlock. She moved in about 8 months after I did, driving a white Lexus so clean it looked allergic to dust. She had that HOA clipboard before she even unpacked her moving truck. I swear, it was like it came as a free gift with her sunglasses. She introduced herself within the first week. Didn't bring cookies. Didn't say hello. Just marched over my property line like it was a red carpet and said, "Hi, I'm the new HOA president. We need to talk about your structure." I blinked. "You mean my cabin?" She made a face like I just coughed on her. "This building. It's obstructing the view from lot 19. It really should be relocated further back on your lot." I almost laughed. Almost. But then I saw it, that look in her eyes. The one that said she wasn't just trying it on. She believed she had the authority to move my grandfather's cabin. So I walked back to the porch. Grabbed the original deed, yellowed from age, stamped, signed, and dated from 1952. I handed it to her and said, "You see that? This cabin's been here since before your bylaws were even imagined. It's grandfathered in." Literally. She looked at the paper like it insulted her personally. "Well," she said, straightening her little leopard print windbreaker, "we've had several complaints. The chimney's too tall, your shingles don't match the shoreline color palette, and the smoke from your fire pit is disruptive." To who? The ducks. She didn't answer, just pursed her lips and said, "We'll be in touch." And boy, was she ever. Over the next few weeks, it became a game. She'd send me notices, made-up citations about my porch railing, noise complaints for using a leaf blower at 2 p.m., and my favorite, that the color of my compost bin might cause emotional distress to local children. Now, you gotta understand something. I've dealt with bureaucrats, contractors, even city inspectors on skyscraper jobs. I don't rattle easy. But this was personal. So I started documenting everything. I had trail cams, printed every note she sent, kept screenshots of the HOA app posts she made complaining about non-compliant neighbors. And then one night, I caught her, on camera, sneaking onto my property with a measuring tape, tiptoeing like a dollar store spy, checking the slope of my deck. That's when I realized this wasn't about aesthetics. This was a power play. She wasn't just enforcing rules. She was trying to push me off my land. But here's the kicker. One evening, I decided to take a walk down to the edge of my lot, just to breathe, and that's when I saw it, Deborah's dock. Now, this wasn't your typical lakeside setup. No, this thing looked like a wedding venue had an affair with a luxury spa. Fairy lights, Adirondack chairs, a damn minibar, and it extended 6 feet past her legal shoreline boundary, straight into mine. She wanted me to move a house that had been standing since Eisenhower was president. Meanwhile, she had built a floating monstrosity halfway into my water rights without a single permit. I measured. I took photos. I pulled up the county maps. I even called a buddy who used to work zoning for the state, and he confirmed it, that dock was 100% in violation. So I did what she never expected. I played by the book. I filed a formal complaint with the county, complete with annotated photos, shoreline codes, and historic aerial imagery. And then I sent Deborah a very polite letter, outlining her violation, including a request to remove or relocate the dock within 14 days. 3 days later, I got a cease and desist letter from her. In Comic Sans. With emojis. That was the moment I stopped playing defense. I went to the county, got the necessary paperwork, paid a licensed contractor, and timed everything perfectly. The following Sunday, at 10:57 a.m., just as Deborah was hosting one of her infamous brunches on the illegal dock, a bulldozer rolled down my gravel path. It moved slow, deliberate, engine humming like a sermon. I stood there holding the county's letter like a priest reading last rites. Guests scattered, mimosas flying. Deborah was screaming about personal property, and I calmly said, "Funny. That's what I said about my cabin." The dock creaked as it shifted, 6 feet east, precisely back onto her lot. Her fairy lights swayed like wind chimes in a hurricane. Her brunch buffet? Half of it went swimming. But we didn't destroy anything. We just returned it to where it should have been all along. And that's when things really unraveled. The video of the incident, and yes, it was recorded, ended up on the HOA Facebook page. Deborah tried to take it down. Dale, the treasurer, reposted it with the caption, "Relocation complete." People started asking questions. About Deborah, about the HOA, about whether her rules were actually enforceable or just intimidation with a clipboard. Soon, a zoning officer showed up at one of Deborah's emergency HOA meetings, just in time to hear her accuse me of engineering-based terrorism. His response? He calmly explained that my actions were entirely legal and she should feel lucky I hadn't dismantled the dock altogether. Now Deborah, not one to accept consequences, decided to escalate again. She filed a civil suit, claimed emotional distress, defamation, said I'd damaged her reputation. My lawyer laughed, then filed a countersuit for harassment, defamation, trespassing, and illegal development. And here's the part Deborah didn't see coming. I'd been sitting on one last card. Trail cam footage, her late at night, handing something to a local inspector, whispering about how to get my cabin flagged. That inspector? Suspended 2 months later for unrelated bribery. That video? Straight to the county investigator. In court, Deborah's new attorney tried to spin a story about neighborhood harmony and uncooperative residents. My lawyer didn't even argue. He just showed binders, permits, timestamps, reports, emails, videos. Then he played the Facebook video where Deborah stood on her dock, wine glass in hand, yelling that I was an enemy of community aesthetics. The judge, a calm old man with tired eyes, asked just one question. Did your client obtain a permit for the dock? Deborah's lawyer stuttered. The judge nodded and said, then I suggest you settle before this gets even more embarrassing. Deborah paid my legal fees, paid restitution, and was removed from her position as HOA president within the week. She tried to appeal, tried to call it a conspiracy, even blamed big dock money. No one listened. Eventually, she moved out. Her house sat empty for a while before a young couple bought it. They planted sunflowers, hung a tire swing, and not a single person complained. These days, things are quiet again. Peaceful. The kind of peace that settles into your bones. We even put up a little sign at the cabin handcrafted by a few neighbors. It reads, "Welcome to the unmovable cabin." Underneath, carved into the wood, home stands firm when truth does too. I don't tell this story because I enjoy conflict. I tell it because sometimes doing what's right doesn't mean yelling louder. It means standing your ground, backing it with facts, and letting the weight of truth do the heavy lifting. So now I ask you, have you ever had to stand up to someone like Deborah? Someone who thought a title gave them power over others? Have you seen this kind of abuse in your own neighborhood? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your stories, the good, the bad, and the unbelievable. And hey, if you ever think about moving someone's cabin, just remember, some things don't move, not without consequences.